Hey guys, and welcome back to my 4-part series on some different editing apps that you might want to try if you're used to Photoshop. This week's app is Polarr. It's free, but you can also get a $1.99 per month or a $19.99 per year free trial with some extra features, but you won't need any of those for today. This is just a very basic photo editing tutorial. There are 3 things for basic photo editing: cropping, light, or how bright or dark the image is, and color. First off, we're going to crop the image. That is the adjust button on the lower right hand corner. Once you enter that screen, you can use the bar to the bottom to change the tilt of the image if you have your horizon lighting wrong. And you can drag on the corners. But if I were you, I would recommend, as it's showing now, changing the aspect ratio. I usually go for a more common aspect ratio, like 3:2 or 4:3, because if you're ever going to do a print or it's ever going to be displayed somewhere, those are the more commonly accepted. 1:1 is also good for social media. And once you find something you like, you just hit the check mark on the lower right hand corner. The one thing I don't like about this app is it is portrait mode only. You can't use the iPad. It makes it useless on like a Magic Keyboard or anything like that. But other than that, this is a pretty neat app. I may do more videos later on some more advanced features of it. Next, we're going to use the adjustments, and it takes you right into the light editing. You can see all the different settings in a tab bar above. When you're editing brightness, remember that exposure adjusts the highlights more than it does the shadows, and brightness adjusts the entirety of the image, whether they're in the low range or the high range. Excuse me. You can also double tap on the dots to return them to center, to 0. I also always set my brightness for slightly higher than I intend it to be in the end, because dark contrast always slightly darkens the image. And I'm sure you guys know by now that highlights increases everything in the higher part of the image, and shadows adjusts everything in the lower part of the image. Darker. Lighter and darker, excuse me. Not higher and lower. Just fiddling around. It's always useful to kind of fiddle around with the sliders in any app you're using, because it can affect how you view the picture. And hit the check mark when you're done. However, you can stay in the adjustments to do this. I just accidentally clicked out of it and realized that the color is in there too. Now, the first 2 options here deal with white balance. That is kind of hard. You might want to look for something that's supposed to be white in the image and adjust it until it looks white. But I usually don't mess with that unless I seriously messed up the white balance using my camera. Then Then I switch to the curves. Curves is very localized. You can see that it uses the entire, I'm going to have to look out what that word is. It uses the entire graph from the blacks to the whites. Incidentally, if your editing program doesn't have a black point level, you can use a curve to change the black point. All you do is take the oval on the right and move it, the oval on the point on the farthest left and move it slightly right. Now it's time to save the image. I always choose to set a separate image. That way I don't lose the previous file if I decide I don't like where I went. And that's it for this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed.